Hi, I'm Nicholas Seminario, founder of Dark Angel Company. This podcast is to share the untold stories of just a few of the many people battling mental illnesses in this world. If you're in need of a little inspiration to keep fighting or to feel less alone in your battle, keep listening and share to spread awareness. This is the Dark Angel Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Dark Angel Podcast. I don't know if you guys are used to the swing of things yet, but we are, what is this, episode like 7 or something like that?
I've got no clue.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. But we have a lot of exciting things coming up. First off, we're going to be kind of giving the podcast room a little bit of a makeover. If you guys see the walls behind us, it's a white baseboard. We're going to be painting them a dark gray. We're going to be doing some other cool adages to it. I think it's going to look great. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be getting some cameras, so we're going to be trying to put this stuff to the next level. Today we have another really good topic. I think this is something that's super important for me, especially habits. I know you're somebody who's super habit driven. You have a lot of habits, I feel. A lot of good habits, which not that I struggle with, but I think I don't have as many habits that you do. I think you're somebody who really kind of revolves your life around it in a sense, where it's a positive thing. You really stick to your habits and make sure you're on track, I would say. First off, I'm somebody who has a bunch of good habits, a few bad ones, and I think you're somebody who probably is the same. Obviously, there's two different types of habits. You have small habits, such as like making your bed every day, brushing your teeth, showering, whatever it is.
Please do the last two.
Yes, definitely. Those are habits we should all have. And then you have something like larger habits that are something you implement into your life that aren't something as small as, doing that. Just to start off, I would say a big habit of mine is doing this. This is something I try and do once a week. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention. I'm going to start posting every week again. Once the new year comes, I'm going to be posting an episode every week, every Tuesday. And yeah, that's something I'm really hoping you guys are going to enjoy. We've been getting a bunch of feedback lately, and it's been really awesome. This past weekend, I actually did something called Winterfest. I set up a table in Hawley, Pennsylvania. And for those of you who came, thank you so much, and thank you for all the support. It went really well. This was my first event. And, the first time I've sold stuff, I did the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Walk, which went amazing. Max was with me. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, for those of you guys, it was awesome. For those of you guys who came to that, thank you. And we're really trying to push this stuff. We're really trying to get it out there. This kind of goes along with my anxiety. I was super nervous to do this walk. Not the walk, the tabling at the Hawley Fest. And it went really well. I'm really glad I pushed myself, and I'm really glad I went out of my comfort zone. Just showing you guys, I'm not just saying these things. I'm practicing what I'm preaching, which is super important. I want you guys to see that we're not just on here talking and just saying things to say them. We're trying to better ourselves through you guys. So we have a lot of exciting things coming up. So thank you guys for all of the support so far, and keep everything coming. We've been seeing a bunch more comments and stuff like that, which is huge, and it means a lot to us. So without further ado, we'll get into this episode. Let's start off with small habits. What are some small habits that you have in your life, that you would consider just a normal daily routine?
Coffee.
Okay. And now, is that a habit like you're dependent on, or?
No, I can go without it, but I like having a coffee to start my day.
Okay.
And then I get up probably right around the same time every day.
Okay, which is when?
6.
Okay, wow.
6 or 7.
Wow. So what's your whole ideology behind that? I know people are a huge fan of waking up early. Some aren't.
I just kind of wake up whenever. I don't really set an alarm. I get up when I wake up. I don't lay in bed too long, and then I'll get a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Mornings are quiet. I like the quiet mornings.
Okay.
Not too much happening.
Yeah, so you kind of like to get your day all together, get everything started, get everything going.
Take my time, enjoy the morning.
Okay.
Before I rush into
Yeah,
anything.
you collect all your thoughts, you get everything going.
Yeah.
Now would you say something like making breakfast, lunch, dinner, is that a part of your habits? Is this something you're doing often?
I mean, yeah, I make food, but there's other things. Going outside for a certain amount of time every day. Getting some kind of like physical activity in, even if it's just walking around.
Okay.
I try to move around a little bit.
Okay.
Feel better.
Yeah, I was listening actually to our seasonal depression podcast, which we just released, and I remember you said you go and see the sunrise every morning.
Yeah.
Is that something you're still doing? Is that a habit you're still incorporating into your day to day?
Yeah, whenever the sun's out.
Okay.
It's been hiding behind the clouds, but
Yeah, I know. It's been pretty crappy out.
What about you?
Yeah, so I'm not somebody who drinks coffee. I would be crazy on coffee. I need the opposite of coffee. But something I do every morning, I wake up, I kind of do my normal routine. I go brush my teeth, shower, whatever, do my hair, and then I kind of go on my way. A habit I would say I do is, I call you, right? So I feel like we talk a bunch. I feel like that's something that's a part of my day. I'll call my girlfriend, or I'll call my friend Chris. And that's kind of just to get some positivity going throughout my day. For those of you who don't know, my buddy Chris, he's somebody who is someone who really is driven. He pushes me a lot. He helps me a lot with, just not being stuck in the same place. So I like calling him, hearing his words of wisdom, and that's definitely a habit I have adopted. Another thing is, which I've touched on in past episodes, is writing those 3 positive things down a day. So I write those 3 things down a day, and it kind of just helps me evaluate, and really shows me I do have something to be happy for every day. And look, some days are harder than others. Some days I really have to search for those things. But at the end of the day, it's something that I'm happy I have put into my life. It's a habit that I don't want to go away. I'm not sure if you started doing that or started doing any things of that nature.
No, but I've been meaning to.
And that's another thing, we sometimes there's things we want to do, and sometimes we just have to do them. I know you said making coffee or getting your coffee. What do you feel going into these moments? Does it feel just like, oh, I'm waking up, I'm going and getting my coffee, or is there a deeper meaning behind it? Is it something where, you'd feel lost without it? Like, how do these habits affect your day to day?
I mean, I definitely will be like a little bit tired or cranky without my coffee. Or if I get rushed out of bed in the morning, and I got to run somewhere without getting like a second to do anything. But it's not make or break.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have some quiet time in the morning. And I've been able to make it a habit, but not, some days you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm somebody who has developed habits, I guess, from when I was a child. My mom was somebody who always gave us a schedule. Like when we were little, I would be in bed by 8 o'clock, had our bath beforehand, whatever it was. It was just this.
Mom was the same way. You had the same routine.
Yes, exactly, which I'm so fortunate of, because that made me someone who makes sure I incorporate some of these habits. Obviously, I'm not taking a bath every day, but, I'm making sure I'm eating, I'm showering, I'm doing all the little things that we should be doing, and then taking it a step further with these larger habits. I would consider a larger habit as being on top of all of this stuff, right? So all of my company, I think that's a big habit that I try and strive and stay on top of. And don't get me wrong, there's some times where I'll go into these lulls and I'll be like, man, like it's not doing great, what can we do? And sometimes it's hard to fight that feeling. Like you just have to get that fire under your butt and kind of keep pushing forward.
The whole thing with a habit, habits take time to form. Habits don't just kind of happen overnight. It takes, I think, 21 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
And you know, even if you're 60 days in, there's going to be days that, certain habits are going to be hard to kind of, do that day.
Yeah.
Whether, just like you said with your company, you don't want to really do those things because it's not going too well.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of a habit is you're doing it anyway because of the reward you're going to get once you finish it.
Exactly. Yes. So would you say there's any habits you're trying to incorporate into your life that are difficult, that aren't super easy?
Not really at the moment. No.
What about like stuff with your baseball? Because you're, I don't know if you want to tell them a little bit about that. You're trying to jump right back into everything. You could go over your injury a little.
Yeah, I've had a couple arm injuries, and essentially I'm just trying to rehab so I can get back to playing fully again. And there's actually, now that you say that, I've had to eat 4 to 5 meals a day, physical exercise of some kind or another, 5-6 days a week, and then throwing 5-6 days a week. But those habits are fun, you try and keep them interesting. I think that's the whole point of the habit is you have to find a way to make it doable every day.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part.
Yes.
What about you?
I would say more of this stuff. I am going to start doing podcasts by myself. So this is going to allow us the opportunity to be able to post every week. And look, that's not something that's super easy, right? It's not easy to talk to yourself for 40 minutes or whatever it is. But I'm going to try it, and hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to be going over different topics that are important to me, things I've struggled with, things I've gotten over, just things that are super relatable and people want to hear. But that's a habit that I want to acquire. I want to sit down once a week and record these, and I want to really have people be able to say, hey, I'm excited to listen to this every Tuesday, and that's something important to me. So I'm going to incorporate that habit into my next, like you said, 21 days is when you form your habit. Another thing I'm trying to get into is editing all my own stuff. I want to learn how to edit these TikTok videos. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of our TikToks, but they're not the best editing quality. So I want to learn how to do it, and I want to learn all of these different types of things to really help this get to the next level. I would say that those are definitely some larger good habits. Some small bad habits that I have are things like biting nails.
Okay.
That's an issue that I've had.
So can I take you back for a second?
Yeah.
So when starting a new habit, what do you think is most important to making sure you stick to that habit? For you personally.
Yeah. Personally, I have like this guy I say inside my head where I'm making sure I stick to it. I'm somebody who doesn't like saying something without doing it, right? So if I say I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, right? In my head, I have to go to the gym 6 days a week. So if I set these boundaries, I tend to follow them because I'm just somebody who likes sticking to my word.
What about the days that you don't, though?
Okay. Yeah, the days that I don't, sometimes I'll give myself a day, right? Sometimes I'll give myself that one day and I'll kind of fall off, I guess. I guess I'm looking at it like worst case, I'll fall off. Best case and most oftentimes, I'll say, give yourself, say, an hour, right? You can kind of chill for that hour and then get back to work, right? Get back to what you're trying to do and remember your goals and remember your long-term goals and how it can help you in the future. Because that's really what it is. You got to put work in if you want to see results. So, yeah, and that's seriously what I believe. So, if I want this to go further, I have to take it that step further. But yeah, that's something I make sure I stick to. And yeah, on those harder days, I would just say overall, those are the days you have to push yourself the most. The days where it's easy, you don't have to push yourself because it's easy, right? The days where it's the hardest is where you need to push yourself. And that's where you need to buckle down and say, all right, I do not want to do this, but I'm gonna. It might suck. It might not be what I'm looking for, but I got to do it. Yeah. How would you go about those things? I don't know if you're struggling with anything or have a tough time, what would you do in those situations?
Sometimes, changing habits or changing things, breaking old habits to form new habits, like it's challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
And it can be hard because, you're so used to doing it one way, and that, you can almost break the good habit you're trying to form just by so much as like not paying attention to what you're doing,
Yeah.
And I think the trick is you just have to start small.
Yeah.
And you have to get consistently, like, do something consistently at a small level before you try and do anything at a big level consistently.
Okay.
If it's hard. If that's what you're struggling with, you know. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of whether or not you do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you said, on the days that you don't want to are the days you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the days you make yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say a bigger habit of yours is going to the gym? Would you say that's something you make sure you implement into your life, or is that not something? Because that's something I'm currently working on.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of exercise or going to the gym of any kind is awesome,
Yeah.
I definitely have fallen off a little bit, but I want to get back in.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling when you're working out every day or you're moving around.
Yep. Totally. I went yesterday. I'm trying to slowly get back into it, get back going every day. I didn't get to go today, but tomorrow I'm going to go, and I'm just going to, it's a Sunday. I might not want to go, but I'm going to go, and I'm just going to get it over with. And I know some people look at the gym as that's their escape, right? So, which is great. You should go to do that. For me, I look at the gym more as a chore, but I know the benefits of it. It helps my head, which is super important. Yeah, that's just something I would consider as a longer or a bigger habit. Another huge habit of mine is sleep. I love my sleep, right? So I'm somebody who goes to bed relatively early, what most people might consider early, 10, 11 o'clock. But I do wake up early. So I prioritize 8 hours of sleep. I make sure I get those 8 hours of sleep. And when I do, I'm great. The next day I'm working great. My head's going. When I get less, sometimes it's not great. So I try to stick to a habit like that. I prioritize my sleep. I'm not sure if you're the same way with your sleep. That's just a habit of mine that I've been like that since I'm a baby. Always.
Yeah. See, I haven't always been like that, but as of recently, I've made it a huge point to get 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And I feel a lot better.
Okay.
Sleep has made a huge impact.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
I used to feel so brain dead and tired throughout the day, and now, 8 hours of sleep, I get out of the bed with no issues in the morning. I don't need coffee.
Yeah.
I like coffee.
Yeah.
But
it's something you enjoy.
Yeah, it's made it or helped it become something I don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. Another habit I want to get into is school. I think everybody, rolling your eyes. I think everybody struggles with habits in school. Not everybody, I don't want to generalize, but
most
people struggle with maintaining a habit in school. And I would say I'm a perfect example of that this semester.
You didn't pay attention in one class
this semester. Nothing. So I'm somebody who generally does scholastically well in school. I've always done well. And I didn't really have to put much effort in, and I've kind of maintained that as a bad habit. I continue to do minimal work. I do the bare minimum. And the thing that's the problem is it works out. Right? I still wind up doing more than okay in my classes, which that's not a great thing to get into. I already said this semester. So I just ended classes 2 days ago. I ended on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. And I said to myself, after I took my last exam, I was like, all right, next semester we kind of have to buckle down. We got to start actually doing stuff. I wasn't paying attention whatsoever. I was, currently I'm getting my real estate license, and during classes, I was just doing my real estate course. I was not paying attention to any of my classes, which isn't good. I'm paying all this money. Well, I'm not, but I have scholarship and things like that. So there's people paying for my education, and I'm not using it per se to pay attention and really get all out of it that I should be. So that's a habit I'm going to incorporate in the next semester. I need to start doing work, putting in a little more effort. I'm not saying I have to be in the books 24/7. I do need to pay attention though, and that's something that's kind of been bothering me. It's something that's like I could be doing much better. And look, I have like a 3.3 or 3.4 average, 3.4 GPA. I'm doing fine. Like there's nothing wrong with my grades, but I could be doing much better, and I'm not happy with that habit.
Yeah, and look, there's also something to be said for trying out habits, them not working or sticking, and moving on from them.
Yeah.
You're not meant to do everything.
Yeah.
Just because it sounds good in your head and you like the idea of it, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like sometimes you and a habit, like it doesn't work. It's not you. You're just going to make yourself miserable by forcing yourself to do something that's not you.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean it's difficult to do every day.
Yeah.
That's just life.
Yes.
But like a habit you genuinely disenjoy and get no benefit from, that's a habit you can walk away from.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Another habit I've started to put into my life is limiting my time on social media. And I feel like you've been talking to me about the same thing. That's kind of why I started doing it. Not that I feel like social media is a terrible place, right? It gives people like us the opportunity to, share our message.
Just too much is a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I would spend hours upon hours sitting on TikTok, whatever it is.
I've been there.
Yeah. And it's not something I like that I do. I could be doing so many more things. I could be getting so much more done.
And you feel like almost cloudy.
Yeah, exactly. Afterwards. Yes. And now I've stopped that. So now I've limited my time. I make sure if I'm on it, it's 10 minutes in the morning. Then I get up, do what I got to do. And look, if I want to go on it before bed, that's fine. That's kind of like my downtime. I make sure I have my downtime. But during the day, whenever I got to do what I got to do, I'm not doing that stuff. That's another important habit, downtime. I feel like that's why I function very well and I get a lot of things done, is because I set aside times to be able to relax. I set aside times where I get to enjoy my free time. I'm somebody who needs a break sometimes, right? I feel like, and you're the same way, we're going all the time, right? We don't have an off button. We're constantly going. Our minds are constantly going. We're trying to go on to the next thing. We're always trying to make forward progress, which I think is amazing. It says something about our ambition, about our personalities, but everybody needs a little bit of a break. And I make sure I allocate enough time to get a break, whether it's an hour at night. I just get to sit in front of Netflix and watch mindless cartoons. It's like something so simple where it's your brain doesn't have to be going 1,000 miles an hour. Do you notice yourself doing any similar habits or things you struggle with that you've started to incorporate habits to prevent them?
Sleep was it for me.
Okay.
Once I started getting enough sleep, it kind of fixed everything.
Okay.
So
okay.
that was really the only thing.
Okay. Also, do you find any bad habits with your schooling? Because I know you're online, right? So there's plenty of habits that could be problematic. I know myself, I wouldn't be able to stay on top of everything. I
just put the class on in the background.
Yeah.
There's only one class I have to be on camera, but I just pull up another tab and do something else.
Okay.
I don't know. I definitely have bad habits in school. School to me isn't a huge priority.
Okay.
At least not personally.
Yeah.
Definitely to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. To me, if I would consider it a bad habit if school was important to me, but it's it's not. So
it's not your priority.
Not something I really worry about.
Yeah, which is fine. Are there any habits that you have that promote mental health care? I'm somebody who, like I said, I make sure I have that time to myself. Another thing I do, I like to go out to eat by myself. So that's a habit I enjoy. I enjoy alone time. I enjoy being able to reflect on my life, which I think is super important. I feel like we all should introspect and see where we're going wrong, see what we're doing right, and congratulate ourselves for doing, big things. Like I was super proud of myself for this last weekend. I did something out of my comfort zone. I was talking to a bunch of people. I was selling my brand. I was getting it out there, and that's not easy for me. So I was proud of myself for that. And look, it's not like I'm dwelling on it. I'm proud of it, but now I got to move on, right? I got to get to that next step. But I set aside that time, when I'm out to dinner, when I'm going to, even if it's just I'm going to Chipotle by myself, whatever it is, I'm setting aside a certain amount of time to self-reflect and give myself what I need, essentially. Do you find yourself in a similar boat?
Yeah, that's what I get for my mornings, though.
Okay. Okay.
It's quiet in the mornings because no one likes getting up.
Yeah.
So I get up, I go outside. It's not too many cars, not too many people. It's quiet. It's nice.
It's peaceful.
That's where I kind of find it.
Okay, so you're kind of finding your habits through peace, right?
Quiet, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you listen to any podcasts? Are there certain types of music that you incorporate into these habits?
Certain habits, sure, like working out, but in like the morning, no. I try and leave my phone inside.
Okay.
I go outside.
Okay. So how did you discover some of these habits? Let's just say the sunset, right? Or the sunrise. When you go and see the sunrise, what made you just say, because look, obviously there's a sunrise for all of us. I see the sunrise very few times throughout the year. It's not like that's something I've incorporated into my life. What made you get up and say, hey, I want to go see the sunset and I'm going to make sure I do this every day?
It's not, I wouldn't say it's so much of like I need to do it every day. But I just enjoy it, like that's why I do it.
Okay.
I try to do as many things as I enjoy as possible.
Yeah.
And that's just something I enjoy. There's something quiet, something that it looks cool too,
Okay. Yeah.
The sky looks all those cool colors.
It's beautiful. It's nice to look at. Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to be right on a beach.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I get up in the morning, I can watch it come up over the water, and at night I get to watch it set.
Yeah.
Over the water. So not a lot of people get that.
Yeah, definitely.
So take advantage of it.
100%. Are there any habits that you left in Florida that you didn't bring here with you, or that you didn't do in Florida that you brought here with you?
No, I'd say that's probably where the coffee came from.
Okay.
Was Florida, the coffee and the beach.
Okay.
Just because that's something you can kind of do anyway.
Yeah.
That's giving me some sense of control.
Yeah. Yes.
But otherwise, no.
Okay.
Nothing really.
Yeah. Now I want to kind of get into some bad habits. I mentioned before me biting my nails.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Mine are bad.
Yeah, and I don't know if we bite them for the same reason. This is something I've done since I was like 4 years old. I can't remember when I started. And my parents have tried so many things. They did those like, I forget what it was, but it was to not bite your nails. It was like you put like scent on them so you wouldn't bite them. I bit through it. I think there was like nail polish, like it was specifically made so you didn't bite your nails, bit through it. Like no matter what I did, I bit through it, and it's still to this day I bite my nails. For me, it's something I do out of nervousness. I'm not sure if it's the same thing for you, but it's a habit that I've developed where anytime I get a little nervous, uncomfortable, I bite my nails, which is terrible, and I do need to stop it. But that's something that's hard for me personally to stop. And I feel like that goes with a lot of things. I feel like there's a lot of habits out there that people have that are hard to break sometimes. So we can all try and make it a point. We can do this here, and this could be for everyone. Those really difficult habits that we have that are bad, let's all try and stop it. I'll try and stop biting my nails.
Last 2.5 weeks of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. 2.5 weeks out of the year, right? We have, this will be airing, I guess.
True.
Yeah, in January.
Try it for 3 weeks then when this airs.
Exactly.
3 weeks from listening.
Try it.
21 days.
Yes. Go for those 21 days. Exactly. And if you do it, take a picture and say, hashtag Dark Angel, we did it. Whatever. Something to say that we're all in this together. We're all on the same team and we're all trying to better ourselves every podcast at a time. What are some bad habits that you have that you're trying to get rid of or that you've gotten rid of?
I feel like it's more getting lazy than
like
bad habits. I just kind of put things off.
Okay.
So that'd be
so
like
procrastinator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Procrastinate less.
Okay. So what would you do to prevent that?
Put my phone down more.
Okay. So you would say your phone is your distracting, your bad habit.
Yeah. Whenever I have social media on my phone, I end up getting distracted by it.
Would you ever contemplate deleting social media?
Yeah, I have, and I actually normally have it deleted.
Okay.
I just at this current moment I don't, and I should.
Yeah. And look, I get it. It's hard this time of year. We're in those darker months. There's not
Stuck inside.
Yeah, exactly.
9-hour days.
Yeah, and it gives our brain more time to kind of drift off and kind of need that stimulation. I'm somebody who needs constant stimulation all the time. But I do want to say some habits that I've really dove into, some larger habits, are things that I enjoy. So I just said how I like stimulation, right? I'm somebody who loves my brain being stimulated. I love questions. I love trying to figure things out, right? I'm a big math person. I love science. I like that stuff. It intrigues me. Some things along the lines of that are some habits that I have are chess, right? I got really, really into chess, and that's a habit that I got into almost to a fault. Like, I was doing it almost like 8-9 hours a day. I was playing chess. But it was keeping me occupied. It was keeping me busy. And I fell in love with it, right? It's a habit that just over time I developed, and it became something I really, really enjoyed. I wound up going and doing tournaments. I wound up really bonding with my uncle over it. But that was a habit that positively affected my life, right? I could have been doing other things, right? I'm playing chess. I don't think that's, something bad. But I could have easily been doing other things that probably you shouldn't be doing. Another habit that I really dove into was playing the piano. This was probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I taught myself how to play the piano. I really like Beethoven. I'm really interested in his music. I just love the way it sounds. So I came home from music class one day, in high school, and the teacher played Beethoven. He played Für Elise. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. I want to learn something like that. So I looked up Moonlight Sonata. My uncle had a subscription to some piano website where it teaches you how to play it, because I can't read music. I play more by ear. So I sat down and I learned how to play Moonlight Sonata, by Beethoven. And things like that, those habits that are positively affecting you, I think are super important. It's something that I would say changed my life, right? It was something where not many people can say they do that, right? They just got up, taught themselves piano. But anyone can. It's just the fact that I got up and I did it. And I made sure I sat down for an hour every day and I would go and play the piano. And it became a habit. It became something I just, second nature. All right, I'm going to come home. It was my relaxation. I was relaxing through chess, through piano, through these different endeavors that were fun to me, and it became a habit of mine. And I'm not as obsessed with them as I was, but from time to time I'll go into my living room and I'll go play some piano, or I'll play a game of chess online. It's something I also do during class, which I shouldn't be doing. But it's like an escape for me. It's a habit I find that positively affected my life. Do you have anything similar?
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say the basic stuff like working out.
Yeah.
Eating well.
Okay.
Going outside.
Yeah.
Those are like the three things I try to do.
And you make sure. Yeah, which is important. That's something I also need to start doing. I got to start implementing those types of habits into my life. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Any other habit suggestions that you would have to give before we close?
I'd just say that, habits are, while obviously it's something that you're striving to do every day, it's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
It's not, you miss a day, whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
The whole point of a habit is it's a guideline.
Yeah.
To doing something.
Yes.
Or reaching a goal.
Yep.
And don't take it too seriously. It's not make it or break it.
Yeah.
All or be all.
Yes. I agree 100%. I would just say stick to them as much as possible. Try not to fall off the wagon. Try and push yourself, right? Obviously don't push yourself to a breaking point, but try and hold yourself accountable. Try and make yourself reach some of these goals, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, a year. Set some goals, make some habits, and make them happen.
The rule of thumb for me is for myself is I try to, if I miss a day, it's not 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Just keep it at one day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hold yourself accountable and make sure you're accomplishing these things. It'll push you into that next level. It'll help you. It'll help you grow in your life, and you'll see how other people are affected by it. Just try and push yourself. That's something I've been doing and I've learned. Pushing yourself will never hurt. You know, like I said, if you push yourself past the breaking point, yeah, that might be a problem, but try and push yourself to new levels. Try and push yourself to do things that you've never done. Create these new habits, and you'll see a difference in your life. Thank you guys again for another episode. I really appreciate all the support. If you have any questions or any ideas for future podcasts, please let us know in our comments. We love seeing your engagement. Also, for those of you who stayed to the end, there is a 15% off code on my store that I'm going to be giving you guys specifically just for listening. It's DAFAM. If you guys didn't hear it, DAFAM for 15% off. And if you guys have any questions or any concerns, you can always reach out to us on Instagram. But yeah, one more time, DAFAM for 15% off. And thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you guys so much for listening, and don't forget to check out Dark Angel Company on Instagram at Dark Angel Co. and online at darkangelco.com. If you're interested in supporting and spreading awareness towards bringing light to a dark topic together, then tune in next time.